The Godfather of Marketing. The man who essentially invented the whole thing had so many genius tactics that if you understand and apply today, will make you more than you know what to do with type of money, yet absolutely nobody talks about them. These strategies stay so quiet, in fact, that they brought this man an obscene net worth of $1 million in the 1800s, which today would be worth $124.7 million, making him the second millionaire in all of American history. But who is this man and his ingenious tactics like hook hacking, narrative offering, and adrenaline hijacking? What are they, and how can you implement them into your business today? So stay tuned. I'm Marley Jax, a multi-seven-figure entrepreneur deeply passionate about psychoanalyzing disruptive marketers like this genius right here to bring you guys the strats that will take you from creating common man marketing to producing campaigns that make you the unicorn leader of your space. So here's our disruptor of the day. Born in 1810, this genius's name was P.T. Barnum, who although initially had a rough entrepreneurial beginning, he got his first licks of success in show business until he hit a massive smash hit when he invented and used his first ingenious tactic that you guys can use that specifically guaranteed gaining the initial mass amounts of attention, which you guys can then convert to make millions.
And to your mom, I was like, 33,000 in 10 minutes, say what?
The strategy, hook hacking, was first utilized when P.T. Barnum opened a museum of oddities. But Barnum's main selling point in all his campaigns was screaming that he had done it. He was the first to find the corpse of a mermaid. This drove absolute insanity across the entire United States, bringing literally millions of people to his museum. But when people got to the museum where the promise was made, the mermaid? Well, it turned out to just be a monkey's upper body sewn onto the bottom of a fish. Although now, some of you real smart marketers might have realized, wait, what? Wouldn't that just piss off customers? That's just ass marketing. Hear me out. What happened next was Barnum would utilize hook hacking by taking that audience now hooked with the initial literal hook of the marketing angle, the mermaid, then hack that hook by providing the massive audience he now garnered with pinheads, human skeletons, bearded ladies, giants, conjoined twins, and way more obscene oddities that the audience would be delighted to see. And it worked. During the museum's runtime, it hosted 38 million customers, gaining the most attention ever generated by a product during that time, making Barnum millions. So the actionable step to get this kind of result is to think of an obscene hook that would draw in all of your ideal customer avatar. Although these days, the FTC will get you if you don't deliver exactly what you promised. But then hook hacking, their fundamental interest demand, which in Barnum's avatar's case was to see weird stuff, then delivering them on just that, still satisfying your customers, and most importantly, satisfying your bank account. But once you come up with this hook idea, how will you spread the message so effectively? Just Barnum screaming, "I found a mermaid!" would have left him ignored, looking like a crazy man. Despite an effective hook, no one would have believed his hook, killing his marketing and killing any of the opportunities for him to become one of America's very first millionaires. But he did it. He made people actually believe he'd found a mermaid. He achieved the unachievable, which is precisely what made him millions. How? That's where his second strategy, narrative offering, comes into play. And the insanity of the money-making results that you can achieve are best demonstrated when he used this exact tactic where he took an irrelevant girl to America, made her a celebrity, made millions off of her, and then when the tactic stopped, the millions immediately stopped coming in, which in your business without this tactic is exactly the millions stopping from coming in point that you may be at. So let me teach it to you. By shooting back to a few years after he'd made bank from the museum, he felt bored, and as entrepreneurs do, he had an insane idea that he had to try. So he went overseas and found a girl named Jenny Lind. She had quite a nice voice, but no one in America had ever heard of her. To Barnum, special came from marketing, not the product. So Barnum created a narrative offering, where as he was bringing Jenny back from Europe, he wrote up this obscene story about how Jenny was known to be a seasoned celeb in the UK with the fairest skin and the most beautiful voice of all. And once their ship hit the dock, even before Jenny had laid a single toe onto American soil, there were thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of fans raving to see her first performance from there, and she toured, taking her from a UK decently voiced singer to what could be considered America's first rock star. Like, this is in the 1800s. They even made merchandise like Jenny Lind change purses and tea kettles, even a fishing line. What? But after about 9 months of touring, this got to her head. She bursts into Barnum's room one night, Barnum's sitting there counting his dollar bills, and she screamed that she was done with Barnum taking a cut of her tours, that she doesn't need his constant, relentless promotion. She's like, I don't need you. And she would go off and be independent. So be it, Barnum said. And the faucet, he turned off. Within a few days of Jenny breaking off from Barnum, her popularity was completely diminished. Without Barnum, her fame was now dying. She was no longer the Jenny Lind. So within a few weeks, Jenny's shows went from like thousands to like a few dozen. Her story was broken. Her narrative offering, non-existent. A cautionary tale for you guys. But the money-making flip side of it is that tactically, take this, the hook here with Jenny's story was her insane track record in the UK. But this hook, or more specifically this narrative, needed to be offered uniquely, hence why Barnum weaved in tons of details such as, oh, she sang for the Queen of England, her voice is as fair as her skin, detail after detail after detail, making the story tangible. On top of that, positioning her narrative offer in a way where there's an absolute aura to it. So for you guys, to make that Barnum level wealth, generate that initial hook for yourselves, but then ideate, what are the deep details that I can add to this hook to generate a shocking narrative? Along with a narrative positioning my product as gold. So for instance, if you're a fitness coach, maybe your hook is you help a client lose 150 pounds and build this beautiful narrative offering of how they literally couldn't even walk before you, and along with this full explanation of your client's emotional journey, how they got to rock bottom, how they're doing now. But your program took them from nothing to something, offering a tangible narrative, a story that audiences can attach to themselves, be intrigued by. And that was exactly what Barnum made millions off of Jenny by. And after Jenny leaving, what the smart marketers must have now realized is that this narrative offering was precisely what made the money, not Jenny. Therefore, I beg you to use this where it took a nothing product to millions. So how much more would you make when we applied this to your guys' awesome product? Use this tactic now, but not until you use it with P.T. Barnum's final magical tactic that he used in both his mermaid hook hacking to sell museum tickets and his narrative offering creation with Jenny. Here's where the issue arises. The leads that see the initial shock value but don't convert to come see Jenny or the mermaid, how did Barnum retarget and convert them? I mean, he must have, with 38 million ticket sales to his museum and bajillions made from Jenny. Well, he understood the fundamentals of adrenaline memorability hijacking. For instance, with the mermaid stunt, not only was the fundamental core reason that the audiences initially stormed to his museum, bringing him and you, if you use these tactics, tons of qualified eyeballs that you can convert into millions of dollars for your business, but it was also because it utilized what's called the fight or flight memorability principle. Think of it right now. As an 8-foot-tall, 1-foot clawed, drooling bear appeared right next to you. Wah! When that bear booms at you, why would you jolt back and run away? More importantly, why would you remember that moment for the rest of your life? It's because when humans are thrown into a stressful situation, our fight or flight mechanism kicks in, surging adrenaline and dopamine through our body. This is precisely what the mermaid, what Jenny's narrative did, with details as stress-inducing as a bear breathing down the side of your neck. Like, hey, we found the world's first mermaid. If you don't see it, you lose your chances to experience that moment that will shake the entire reality that we humans now have other hyper-intelligent species in this world. You wanna miss this? Or, hey, there's the greatest singer from the UK singing for the Queen, all the people of Great Britain. You wanna miss that? Talk about FOMO. Constant dumps and dumps and dumps of copy like this would be force-fed to those who didn't initially buy, where Barnum would hijack their adrenaline and dopamine circuitry to make it feel like the bear screeching next to the reader of the newspaper and screeching bears, adrenaline surges, and most importantly, adrenaline hijacking. What does it do? It stabs memory after memory into the audience's mind until all they can do is dream about the product, until the unconverted must convert to buy your product. All because you learned a little something from Marley Jacks, who taught you a little something from Mr. P.T. Barnum about hook hacking, narrative offering, and adrenaline memorability hijacking. So you could hook, Sell your story and then make them remember, all so that you can make millions of dollars using the strategies from the godfather, the inventor of marketing, Mr. P.T. Barnum himself. But the issue with P.T. Barnum's tactics are that often many saw him as a con artist, because although he knew how to market, his products weren't often as good. But who knows how to create not only insane marketing, but delivers fantastic products, is a billionaire marketing genius I take a deep dive into, where I teach you all her secrets on how she uses tactics that allowed this person to reach a billionaire status in her 30s. So check out that video right here. I will see you guys there.